Hi, everyone. Today we're going to look at the map analysis tool. We've looked at it before, teachers specifically. I'm sure you've used it. I want to show you how I use it with students, or would use it with students, with PearDeck Draw, specifically the Draw feature in PearDeck. Now, PearDeck is an add-on. I already have it installed. See, open PearDeck add-on. But how would you do that? You would go to Google. They call it the Google Workspace Marketplace. You're getting the PearDeck for Google Slides add-on. It looks like this. It is allowed by the DOE. See, I have it installed already over there. Now, I don't want to uninstall it, right? So you install it as I have it, as I showed you. Again, it's under add-ons, PearDeck add-on. Now, just some words of warning before I go further. I just wanted to show you that there's something called the PearDeck Power-Up, which helps you show video in PearDeck. But before you go further, specifically with PearDeck, if you have any transitions on your Google Slides, they're not going to show up, or any GIFs don't always work out so well, even though it's PearDeck Power Up. So that's just the warning. The other thing is, if you have text boxes, you're treating Google Slides as a document, that probably isn't going to work either, because students cannot do anything to the slide. You cannot do anything to the slide once the PearDeck starts. But at the same time, the benefit is that you have instantaneous feedback, because you can see what your students are doing right away, and you can give them takeaways. They can get a copy of the PearDeck if you share it. So that's the trade-off. Personally, for my classroom, it's worth it, because I'm able to see during learning what they're doing and how they're doing it. So now back to how I would do it. Use PearDeck Draw with this. So let's say there's this specific, we're going to look at the map analysis tool. If this is a regular slide, the students can go into the text box, see right here, and they can add it. But I want to show you how PearDeck Draw specifically works with maps and would help me for my classroom with maps. So this is, you open up the PearDeck add-on, and this pops up. It says PearDeck Start Lesson. But obviously, before you start the lesson, you're going to want to add on. So if you click on add-ons, you can add on either, see, there's all different types: text, multiple choice, numbers, put in a website. We have to be careful with that with regard to linking and hyperlinking. Maybe more on that a different time. But I'm specifically focusing on PearDeck Draw. PearDeck, by the way, is free for the basic features. PearDeck Draw is a basic feature. If you want to go to Draggable, which is pretty amazing, it is not basic. So you have to pay for that. Although you do have a free trial, which I had one for quite a while last year, but I got my school to pay for it. I'm very lucky. So if you see on the bottom, it says draw anywhere on the slide. Students can now respond on this slide. But how is that going to work? So you start the PearDeck, like I said before, start the lesson. And what comes up is you have two choices. You can either choose a student-based activity, which the students control the PearDeck and move around the slides. I tend to use this for asynchronous instruction, so they can move around, do their thing, and respond. And yes, they can work at their own pace and their own timing. Versus instructor pace is if you're real time, let's say on a Google Meet or Zoom or some sort of synchronous meeting, you can use this to go through the lesson and see your student responses instantaneously. So let's say you start the lesson. So teacher starts lesson, and this is what comes up on your screen. Join PD. You can share the link with the students. I give it to them in the chat. Some students like opening up PearDeck on another device. So I give them that join code where it says acidic x-rays, fondly wish green yards. Yeah, they always have funny little things up there. They type in joinpd.com. They go to AXFWGY. And as they join, the presentation starts and your screen starts to look. You see the difference here. Your screen starts to look like this is the teacher's screen. Now, the cool thing is you can open up, if you have premium, you can open up a dashboard and watch the students in a new window. If not, you're going to have to see them work on their own. But I'm going to open up the dashboard in a new window, and it says waiting for student responses, right? Now, once a student starts working, the response comes up. Now, before a student works, just by the way, they also get asked how they're feeling. It goes next to their name as they log into PearDeck. They log in with their DOE email. I find it very telling. Now, this is how the student sees it. Okay, what can a student do to draw? This is a map. This is awesome. So they can highlight. They can either write on it. See? That's really thick, right? So the first thing that I taught kids to do with PearDeck is the line sizer. I made it much smaller. See? High. Let's erase that high. We're going to go, they want to know the title. So back here to pencil. I want to write it. Not going to work out too well in light blue, even though I like the color. We'll go purple. And the title is Trade. Now, that's nice and sloppy. So you can switch to text. And the students can put in a text box. And let's go to context. Trade in the Mediterranean. Okay, trade in the Mediterranean 1400. It's student choice. They get to answer and respond however they'd like. Just also to point out to you, they can draw lines if you want to try to use this tool in math. I teach in a math classroom, actually. My ICT teacher. Voila, they have their right triangles. Or whatever else you need to do. Yeah, I know, I'm going off topic, but I just want to try to show you all the different possibilities you can do if I'm talking about PearDeck Draw. But going back here for maps, this is how a student would see it, and this is how they'd respond. They can draw anywhere on the slide, and check this out. This is the really cool part. I can see what this student just did, right? I can see that this student wrote on it, they made the lines, they did whatever they do. So if I'm working with a map asynchronously, and I was working with such an activity, and I really wanted to see what they picked up and how they picked it up, I would have them color and write all over that map as much as they could. Now, obviously, there's other tools you could use. My point of showing this to you is I am so desperate during remote instruction. I need to see what's going on. And now I can see it. But I can do that with regular text. But let's say this map over here. I want to point out specifically, highlighter, a sizer, I'm making it smaller, a yellow highlighter. I specifically want to look at trade routes by land. If I want them to highlight them, here I go, and they could start highlighting them. And I could see if they actually understood on the map key what a trade route by land is. And I could even have fun with them for color coding. I can have them highlight over here. Okay, same principle, same thing for any type of picture, any type of drawing. I really think this is useful. I hope I was helpful, and I hope you have a wonderful day, night, whatever time this is that you're watching this.